Boston now. How'd you guys even get a camera up this high? Oh, wait, I know some of these names. People say in a parallel universe that Aaron guy sounds a lot like I do. You know, every superhero story has some sort of tragic beginning or origin. Some event or series of events that make us who we are. I wasn't always this awesome, believe me on that one. I've had my fair share of trials and tribulations. It isn't that I feel my story is exponentially more special than anyone else's, but you're here and I feel the urge to share. So let me introduce you to me. My name is Patrick Attill. My family is Irish, and our last name means flight. Superhero landing time, check this out. I know you're thinking, wow, that is hot. Sweet sound effect, too. Now, where was I? Ah, yes, this is the part where you start seeing parts of my past. Don't freak out, they're just visual memories. Got it? Okay, now let's continue. Gotta freaking nail that.
What is up, everybody? It is your Caped Crusader Cody from Keeping It Geekly, and we are breaking the fourth wall over with the boys of Tilt. You're catching us live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and I am so excited to be breaking down this launch party for Tilt issues 1 through 4. Without further ado, let's get all the boys into the chat and start getting this party rolling.
Oh, it's really
Did you guys you like that little intro?
Yeah.
That was on the fly.
That was good.
You learn fast. You learn on the go.
So yeah, what is up? We are joined today with Aaron and Matt, and hopefully the rest of the crew. How are you guys doing? Welcome aboard.
I'm good, Matt. How are you?
I'm good. I haven't seen that Tilt trailer in a minute, so it's always good.
Forgot how dumb it is.
Yeah, I forgot how stupid it was.
So who made it? Who came up with that part? I love that little part at the end. That was catchy.
That was all me. My brain's broken.
I think we had that talk of what was it? I think we were talking one time about how we loved that Emperor's New Groove.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Kronk.
And how he sang his own theme song. And Aaron was like, dude, I'm on it.
It has to happen. It has to happen. So let's begin this party correctly and start with introductions. Go ahead. Let's start breaking down who you are and what you do. And are we expecting the other guys to arrive, or is it just going to be us three?
I just dropped the link again. It looks like Joe's on his way.
Cool.
Takes him a while to drive, so.
I was going to say what we could do is we could introduce the other guys as well if you wanted to. Give a little breakdown of them as well. So, Aaron, why don't you go ahead and take the wheel?
Yeah, so my name's Aaron. You guys might have seen me lately. When I do live streams, I always go by the Count of Monte Cristo. It's just a thing. It became a thing. I'm sticking with the thing. So it is what it is. But I am the writer as well as the co-owner, and I don't know, whatever titles we gave ourselves at Catalyst Comic Studio. But I scripted Tilt 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that's really what we're talking about, as well as pretty much all the other Catalyst stuff for now. That's me. Go ahead, Matt.
Yep. I'm Matt, the other co-owner / artist / tell Aaron that idea is stupid or great, and he does the same to me. And that's how you run a good business.
That's right.
I think you guys are actually live on your podcast.
Okay.
So just to give you a heads up, because I was looking for you on Catalyst Comics, but I think we're over on the podcast one.
Also, here's Ramon.
Hey, Ramon, welcome to the party. How are you doing? We were just introducing everybody, so go ahead and take the wheel as well.
Is my audio working? My mic?
Yep, I hear you.
All right. Hello, everyone. This is Ramon from Philippines, from the other half of the world, and it's good to be here. Just what are you guys talking about? Just introducing fun.
Yeah. So Ramon's the colorist on Tilt. He's done Tilt 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Oh, awesome. Hey, welcome aboard. How's everything going over there? Good morning. It is nighttime for us over here.
Yeah, it's morning here. 8 o'clock in the morning. And just woke up. Actually.
So, how was that for you guys working with such conflicting time zones? Did you guys find that as like a barrier? Seems like it could be very problematic here and there.
I mean, we did everything in group chat. So, I mean, just whenever people look at it and respond to it, then we just go from there. Also, creatives, we're always doing different weird schedules with our lives. So, it's never been really a big problem. We always seem to have a good group of communication for this team.
Mm-hmm.
Don't mind me. I'm just I'm trying to get all these posts working.
So, how are you guys feeling about this launch? What are you guys most excited about? What are you guys dreading? Is there anything that you're like, oh, we're gonna have to get through this grind? What are your guys' thoughts overall?
Go ahead, Matt.
It's been a long learning process. Tilt's like that one. After we did Paradigm, jumped straight into this, and then it was kind of fast track this one. And we've had a couple hiccups and slowdowns, and then pickups, and then like, are we working on this project? We're working on another project, but I think this is the one that's like, whew, it's done. Let's get it out. We're ready.
Yeah.
Have a trade.
That it's a big one for us to be able to close out a story arc.
Yep.
Okay.
So as the colorist, how are you feeling about this finally getting completed as well?
Yeah, because I'm the third in the process, like in the writing, the illustrating, and then coloring. Then after that, the letters. It's good to see the story from the script coming alive. And it feels good, man. And having that 4 story arc, following the story of Patrick. Um, Very cool to see wrapping it up in that kind of way, and just adding something um, through the colors. It means a lot to me, when especially this is my first published book.
Oh, let's
So,
go! Congratulations.
this story, and I'm so thankful to Matt and Aaron for giving me the chance to be part of this team, even though I'm just a rookie. Can say that when I first started the Field One, but they gave me a good push to do the work. So that I feel it's good, man, to see Field 4 coming alive and bringing it to the fans.
Yeah, that
Actually.
is awesome. That is
Yeah,
awesome.
I don't think anybody would look at Tilt number 1 and think that it was Ramon's first book. Because I mean, its coloring's been out of the world throughout the whole thing, and it's only gotten better throughout the books. And issue 4 is just gorgeous.
So what are you guys most excited about working on next? I mean, before we jump into the Kickstarter, I mean, now that you got this arc finished, what are you guys looking to do next? What are you most excited for?
Matt, what are you most excited for next? I'm interested to hear that.
Well, so here at Catalyst Comics, we've got like 13 balls in the air at one time, right? Trying to juggle everything, because Aaron's always messaging me going, Matt, I got another idea. And I'm like, Aaron, hold on, bro. Our wallets can't afford this yet. So we gotta either do like a bro book, like a me and him book. So I think that's our next one, is probably going to be Paradigm, since that's pretty much, I think I've been kind of waiting, because it's not really that, we wanted to make sure Tilt was out first before I finished that one anyway. And we still got to find that, we're going to find a colorist for that. And then that'll probably be the next one, since it's so close to, I've got like 8 or 9 pages left to draw, but everything's laid out and just needing to do it.
And that's happening in the same universe, correct?
Yeah, Tilt and Paradigm and Silhouette, they're all in the same universe. So for us, that's another big one to step A little bit closer to the ridiculously long map
Mhm.
that we have of books that are interconnected. So, for me, I'm excited about Paradigm 2 because it was a different pitch for us to start a company off of because it was such a slow burn.
Mhm.
But it still has started finding its connection with people that are into those kind of stories. And I think issue 2 will really catch people off guard once they realize that it's connected to the Silhouette short story, and they'll start seeing how everything's kind of fused together now. So I'm excited about that. And then honestly, the thing I'm most excited about, it's ridiculous because like we're nowhere near ever even getting to work on it, but
Yeah.
it's just a stupid story that I've been working on and telling Matt about. It's just an obscure thing that came to my mind one day I thought would be funny,
Mhm.
and I'm not going to stop. So
Yeah, there's plenty to do, and it's one of those time money issues that
Mhm.
like we're still small, but we want to try and start ramping stuff up.
So, what are you? I mean, before we really start diving into previews and stuff, what are you guys? You want to give us like a breakdown of like issues 1, 2, and 3, like leading into issues 4, kind of like maybe just a little bit of summary, and then maybe we could talk along the way of some of the interesting things that have happened, like troubleshooting or issues, that you had to work around.
Mhm.
So, let's start with the issue 1. When you guys started that, how was that process for you guys? What was some of the troubles and tribulations you had, and how did you guys end up working through them?
well, I mean, the company was a trial and tribulation to start with. If we were to go back there, we've talked about it with Ramon. We've talked about it with Joe as well. For you guys that don't know, Joe, if he can get in here, his phone's not cooperating. Joe's the illustrator for Tilt. But anyway, the beginning of the company had turmoil from somebody that I was involved with kind of falling off the face of the map, and then me left holding the reins while Matt was supposed to be working on the book. And then me going to Matt and being like, what do we do? And he was like, let's just do your solo book. So that was Paradigm. And we kickstarted that. And it was a struggle. And we did not kickstart Tilt number 1. That was like an incentive for some stores. And then we just kind of put it out there. And it grew a fan base real quick. And it's only grown since then. So, the first issue is really meeting Patrick and seeing what he's like and seeing him as a homeless dude in Boston trying to figure out life after escaping a ridiculous mercenary life for the Council of Elders. And if you guys haven't read it, if you're watching this and you haven't, it's fourth wall breaking. And I think he's a really fun character. He plays on a lot of superhero tropes, but he's also really grounded at the same time. And he has a good supporting cast behind him. But doing the first issue was really just a matter of getting it done. So we met Joe, and then we met Ramon pretty quickly after and put that team together. And once we started working on it, we were both excited because Matt and I, for us, it was the first book that we had a different team. We had other people working on it. So as pages came in, we were just like, dude, this is the coolest thing ever.
So Ramon, you said this was like your first publication that you've worked on, correct?
Frozen Ramon.
Oh, I was like, oh, maybe he didn't hear me.
As I was saying, this is my first.
Joe.
Hey, hey, Joe.
Hello, Joe. So,
Okay.
now, Ramon, you said this was like your first publication that you worked on, correct?
Yes.
So, how was that for you, like transitioning to comics and like taking on that type of medium?
Yeah, it's to me personally, I got really nervous starting with the book because I don't know how to do it properly, and I'm just thinking maybe I could mess up. Like I don't have any experience prior, just a little bit of gigs, coloring gigs I did. But Aaron and Matt are so helpful to me, pushing me, especially Joe. Whenever I see the page, I send it in the group. They keep on pushing me and appreciating my work. So it gave me the boost, the confidence to, yeah, maybe I'm doing it right. Maybe maybe
You did it very right, Ramon.
Yeah, that is so awesome. That is awesome.
and,
Hey,
but looking back to the
Now,
first,
is this me or is this you guys all cutting out at the same time?
I think it must be you.
It's me then.
Yeah, it'd be too simple to just have.
But
this
if it's
work
me, how can you
smoothly.
hear me?
But
We can
just
hear you.
click
Or
back
see
in.
me.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
video's frozen.
Yeah.
Now you're a circle, Joe.
Now you're a circle.
Yeah, maybe the connection, like the bandwidth for the video is not working, but it is for the audio. Sometimes that does happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if he can click back in audio wise, then we'll just go with that. I don't know where were we.
Do we want to wait for him to try to come back, or do you want to continue?
Yeah, I mean, we can keep talking. We'll just
So
click her in.
now with this with Tilt One issue issue number 1, excuse me, not being kickstarted, do you think that kind of helped propel the success of it, like being able to just have this book available without like kickstarting it and readily available to everyone that wanted it? And with that being said, did you kickstart number 2, and do you think having 1 at free helped with 2 being successful?
I don't know, Matt. What are your feelings on this?
I think everything was trial and error, right?
Mhm.
I think we were Ramon on all that.
Mhm.
How does Kickstarter work? Do we crowdfund it? Should we just put the book out? Should we build a website? How does it work? I mean, like, do we need to actually like spend money promoting it? Should we just like, hey, we post it once it's out? You know, like we didn't know anything, right? So everything was, of course, we're still learning.
Yeah.
And hey, well, what does everybody else do? Okay, was this successful? How did they do it? Should we try this? Hey, let's try it on this book. Let's see how that goes. And like, I don't know. If you want to hear the whole story, just go to the podcast because we go over everything. How like every episode was pretty much, Aaron, what did we do wrong this time? And well, Matt,
that was the approach of the podcast for sure.
Here's what we did wrong. Here's what you guys shouldn't do. Here's what we learned. Here's what like all that kind of stuff is. It's there. All of our tripping over our own feet. Like it's that kind of stuff. But I told Aaron, probably the greatest thing we probably did was give away the first issue of Tilt as a. Like at first you're like, man, we put so much work and effort and energy into these books. Like we shouldn't just give it away. We should value our worth. And as an artist, you kind of hear all these different things like that. And then it's kind of like, no, you let people enjoy it. And if they like it, they're going to buy it anyway.
That's
like
true.
I said, like you have to give them something, it's kind of, hey, check out the first book. If you like it, cool. Here's a free digital download. It's not costing us anything to ship it. It's not costing anything to, anything like that. So try it out. See if you like it. If you don't, no big deal. But it's also like, hey, we exist now. If you don't like that, check out what else we have. You might like the horror book that we did or whatever. So
we picked that book to be the freebie because it was superhero stuff. We know that superhero stuff has a harder time on campaigns. And going into it, we just we knew we wanted to have a book that we could give away. Tilt was the most sensible answer because we knew we had a good team behind it, and we wanted to see how large of a footprint we could gain with it. And Tilt's first showing up was really in the little cons that Matt and I were going to because we didn't campaign it, so nobody was getting a hold of it.
That's cool though.
Yeah,
like doing the cons together and everything.
It was fun and also not rewarding. Matt and I, it was like little vacations.
Yeah.
Like you're going into it and like, I mean, we'll go get a nice dinner. We'll hang out at the hotel, hang out at the con.
It's definitely cons are definitely meant to, I don't know how Aaron's kind of not introverted. I'm definitely more introverted, but like I'm still very open to talk to anybody. But like cons are definitely like I have to go rub elbows with the right people, and like it's definitely meet and greets, and that's how it should be. Like other people that are doing the same thing you do, but I don't know. It's like
that can be hard to push you out of the element, though.
Sometimes it feels like it was starting to get to that point of I don't know, different groups, and if you weren't in the right group, then it didn't matter. It's that kind of stuff. Or for everybody has their own tribe or whatever. So, we were like, which tribe do we just want to make friends and sell comic books.
Mhm.
And then we
So,
realized we don't belong to any of them.
Yeah,
Nobody wants us.
Hey, that's not a problem though. You make your own tribe at that point, right?
right.
I mean, the approach that we've taken to it ever since that was to just build the group of people that we don't mind dealing with, and then the ones that we have problems dealing with. I mean, I'll still share your campaigns and stuff, but like,
Mhm.
I'm not going to you for advice if
Mhm.
because we've had instances in the past where people have given us advice and particularly on Tilt that has backfired and not been great for us.
So, if you don't mind sharing, what's been some of that advice?
I don't know, Matt. You want to say what?
You don't got to put names on it, but just like the advice itself.
I'm trying to think of stuff that it's mostly like it's more of like, I'm a Kickstarter professional and this is how you should run it.
Mm.
And it's, well, why don't you set a $5,000 goal? Why don't you put this? It's like, well, we already know we're not that well known.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's not so much about this, like, hey, you should never do a $500 starting goal because that cheapens your brand and all this kind of stuff. It's like, well, we don't really have a brand yet.
Yeah,
That was,
yeah.
when we were first starting out, so.
I mean, also one of our most successful campaigns was with a $500 goal. So.
Right. Yeah.
So, did you do a campaign for issue number 2?
We did, yeah.
So, how did that end up going for you guys?
So it was, at the time, it was great. All right. So to put it into perspective, everything's growth based for us. That's how we analyze how we're doing, and that's how we analyze what the footprint is. And so for Tilt, the first one being, is 50. I think it was somewhere around 50 copies for in store incentives, and then the print amount that we did to actually sell at shows without having a Kickstarter. And then the first campaign was actually for issue 2. And I think we had like 67 backers or something, and it wasn't, out of this world. We've definitely topped that since, and monetarily, it was a struggle to get to where we wanted to go, but we did get there. And then we did issue 3, and we got there a little bit easier. Not only easier, but we had more backers. That was 78 or something. I don't remember exactly what the numbers are anymore. But every time it stepped up. So we know going into issue 4, the things that have changed on Kickstarter since we did issue 3 are things like the pre-launch page. And for us, that's a big one. So I wish that our pre-launch page was higher than it is right now, because I would feel more confident in the long run of the campaign. But at the same time, looking at last time I checked, it's 55 that are following the notification, which for us is fine. Usually we'll launch once we hit 50. So 55 to be potential day 1, day 2 backers. That's a good solid start when you're looking at our top Tilt campaign, specifically being 70 something. So hopefully we'd top that this time. And then
so what do you think you did to get that 70? Like what things were you doing that were just, working best for you guys?
Our email list, giving away Tilt number 1. And then all of the different shows like yours and a lot of different shows that I have been. Yeah. So I've done quite a few now. And Twitter was a brand new realm for us. We hadn't messed much with Twitter until I think I talked about it on your show too. We hadn't messed around with Twitter at all. And then once we did, we realized, this is where people that actually want to read comic books are, not just make comics. And so that was big for us. And, I noticed ever since like your show was one of the earliest ones I think I did. I think you were like the second one or something. But ever since I started doing those shows, that's what brought us from, like 20 something following to the 55 that we are now. So
dude, let's go. I should have been number 1, but it's all right.
Well, I mean, the campaign's not live, so we'll take we'll take any anything we can get. But it's been an experience to watch things grow. And then we've done campaigns for dark fantasy horror as well as the spy thriller stuff, and those have both been far exceeding what we've done on any of the superhero stuff. But that's to be expected. So for us, it's more so adjusting what we think is successful for specifically superhero stuff.
So before we dive into looking at some of these previews, I guess let's do something cool. Let's give each of you like a little spotlight to tell anyone out there that's not following or have notifications turned on for the pre-launch on why they should.
Yeah, so for us, the biggest thing is we do cool stuff in our campaigns. If you guys have never seen people unbox stuff like One Last Job, then you'll see people get pretty excited to get packages from us because we typically will throw in something fun just to try to set the mood. We're, Matt and I are mood setters.
Yeah, we want, every time I saw a campaign, it's one of those things where like I want you to feel excited that you actually back the campaign. I don't want you to just be like, oh, I'm basically backing this is the same thing as me going to the store and buying the book. And that's all you get is just the book. I just feel like there should be something extra that kind of like draws you into the story if you actually read it and don't just buy it just to buy it. You know what I'm saying? Like for the people that actually are buying the campaigns and getting that little extra, you should know exactly what that is and why it's in there. And that's that little extra piece that draws you in. And it's the storytelling aspect that, like we enjoy about telling stories. That's the point of what we're doing,
And the purpose of the notification button is really so you know right when it goes live. And the reason that we try to tell you it's important to hit that button is because it gives us an idea of what the beginning of our campaign goes like, and we offer cool incentives for that. So you get like exclusive stickers that we don't give away anywhere else. It's just stuff to the first 25 or 50 or whatever it is for that campaign. And then we're adding a little bit more of a challenge in this one where people can comment on the Kickstarter page itself, because that helps with the algorithms and stuff. But having a strong launch makes the entire campaign, because after that first 3-4 days, it's pretty much dead space until the end. So, I mean, being able to launch strong is vital for every creator. And if you guys don't run Kickstarters, but you're into comic books, you get cooler stuff when you are an early backer. And for Matt and I, we look at those, even if we're not offering something specifically written out on the campaign that we're giving, we still look at those first, however many backers. And even in One Last Job, number 2, nobody knew that they were getting like a coffee stained linen letter with a pierced bloody ear.
So cool.
But it was just something that we did because we thought it was cool and we thought it would set the mood. So we do that kind of stuff all the time. So hit that notify button.
Yeah, there could be some hidden swag that is not even mentioned. That's awesome. Hey, Ramon, what about you? Last finishing words for anyone that's hesitant to turn on notifications. What would you like to say to them?
Well, for my part, for the Kickstarter, gets me really excited even though I cannot participate because of the time and place difference. But man, for everyone who's on the notification, you should always check it so you get updated. Matt and Aaron are doing cool stuff, cool rewards for people who back the Kickstarter, and even me personally, I wish I had that rewards too. I can have it. So good for those people who back the Kickstarter. I just want to thank you personally for the support. Give a boost for the creators, especially the day one backers. Give them a real boost to push creativity for them.
I'll say too, just because this popped in my head because you brought it up. I want to say that this campaign is probably the first time that we've done international packages for Tilt. I want to say, I don't know that we ever have before, so that'll be something different and new as well.
60 backers. Let's get this man a sticker. He needs one.
Well, no, for real. We've all had these conversations, behind closed doors. Of we want to make sure because we wanted to wait until we had everything wrapped up so that we could send Ramon something that has the work that he's put into it. And so I mean that's definitely something we plan to do because he has every right to have copies of what he's created.
Yeah, let's go. He's excited for the stickers. I would be too. Those stickers are cool. I seen them. So let's go ahead and start diving into the preview if you guys want. Are we waiting for Joe? Is he unfortunately not able to make it?
Yeah, I haven't gotten a message back. I know he had said that he has family coming over too, so he wasn't sure if he was going to get to stay long anyway. But it is what it is. We're here. We're cool.
Yeah,
we
let's
missed
go.
Joe.
Yeah.
Joe and I did a few shows together when we did this the third campaign, and that was fun. This is the first time we've ever been on with Ramon. He came on to voice chat. I think the last time we did a preview night, and then his voice thing wasn't working, so then he was just in the chat for the rest of the time.
Hey, so for the next one, hopefully you'll be able to like get the whole entire team, and it'll just work team member by team member.
Yeah, it's more difficult than it sounds to get everybody together on at the same time. But yeah, I mean, so it's cool to actually talk to Ramon and see him at the same time. Yeah, I mean, I got stuff going on here that
I do podcasting, so that's why I have a fancy background.
I have books.
I like your Pokemon poster as well, Snorlax.
Thanks. I also have hold on, this is like a pride and joy right here. Is the Optimus Prime from Beast Wars.
Ooh, yeah, that is awesome.
Megatron as the T-Rex, but he's chasing two of the Golden Girls. That's how I live my life. All right, so yeah, I guess you want to do campaign stuff, right?
yeah. Let's start diving in. What everyone's here for.
So, well, let me smash the button to show the full trailer, and then I guess we can pull up the slides and go through the slides.
Yeah.
Right. We'll do it if I can remember where it is.
Now the end is here, and so I face that final curtain. My friend, I'll make it clear, I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I've traveled each and every highway, and more, much more than this, I did it my
Yeah.
All right, so we're looking at June 15th for the official launch date.
Yep. And
what time are you looking at?
probably like 8 in the morning. I don't know. We normally do like evening ones.
Yeah, we do evening ones, and then like
because Matt and I usually jump on and go live for like 10 minutes and then launch and kind of just sit there for a little while, just to see what happens. Joe just messaged me. He said, "Sorry guys, tried to connect, but my phone won't have it." So
not a problem. So right here, this is the main protagonist, Patrick, correct?
All right. Sorry, I was responding. Yeah, so Patrick Tilt is the hero for Tilt. He is Tilt himself, so he's a fourth wall breaking. I would like to say he has a heart of gold, but he also punches people a lot. So I don't know if those two things.
He's
changed.
A
haircut as well. Yeah,
he has changed a lot since issue 1.
Stuff's happened.
Yeah, stuff got real.
Yeah, he's been through some stuff.
Yep.
So he's getting stabbed in the bicep too.
What can I say? I mean,
you're like screw Patrick, man.
Yeah, Aaron.
Yeah,
Aaron's brain just goes however it feels.
So, man, I could not even imagine how that would feel. It's such a gruesome sight. So, give us a little bit of a backstory of Patrick and kind of what to expect from his character.
Yeah, so when we first meet Patrick, we see him homeless on the streets of Boston. He kind of gives a recap of what happened to him, which was, he was taken at the age of 15 from his home and brought into the Council of Elders as a mercenary. So he just did whatever their bidding was and, saw awful stuff, was taken as a teen. So he didn't really have those developmental years after 15. So when he had the chance to break out, he broke out and has been just homeless in Boston, hanging out. And he decided it's time to help both clean up the streets in Boston as well as figure out who it was that really put him into that predicament that he was in. And his first point of order is to go visit Exquisite, who is the person that picked him up in the limo at the beginning and brought him to the council. So he goes into it thinking that Exquisite works for the council, and we realize that he doesn't. He's just He uses a lot of storyline that goes along with chess because he would rather play games. He's a billionaire, so whatever kind of does right for him, which is fun. It's fun to explore all the different background characters. But yeah, when we meet Patrick, he's down on his luck. Exquisite's like, oh, there's a game to be played here, and kind of gives him keys to an apartment that he doesn't really bother with. And so then we see Patrick crashing at someone else's house, but it's not like it's his. So I'll say that a lot of people, as you read through it, you'll be like, oh, Patrick's kind of coming into his own, he's kind of starting to get his life together. Well, he's not. I mean, he's just getting a lot of handouts from a really rich person who probably really in the end is not going to care less. So I tell people, when you're reading it, to have that in the back of the mind, because you're seeing these things on pages, you're seeing it's okay, Joe. But you're seeing these things on pages, and you kind of get lost in the story to where you're like, okay, well, Patrick's doing better for himself. Well, is he though? I don't know. I don't feel like he is.
So, Ramon, for your coloring is like amazing. I know you were saying this was like some of your first like experiences, but this looks phenomenal. Like, what was some of your creative process when like learning how to color like for Patrick?
Actually, I prepared for this one. I enrolled in a course of coloring. My mentor is K. Michael Russell, if anyone knows.
Yeah, he's a good colorist.
The first book, I just watched his videos, YouTube videos, learn from that. Then little by little, if you look back to the first issue, I think I did some things over there. I think I overdid some things like the hair, too much details on the hair or the small things, which is in a storytelling perspective. You don't need to over detail the page. You just need the reader to guide their eyes to look at what's important. So maybe for this issue, in the second issue, the third, the fourth, little by little, I improve my style. I'm kind of confident with my style. So and they're liking it. Aaron and Joe and Matt, they're all liking it. So maybe I'm doing the good.
Yeah, no, it's awesome.
Yeah, I think me and Aaron have talked about how you and Joe make the perfect pair for that kind of stuff. Like it was something about how clean his lines were, and then how well you do. Yeah.
No, yeah, that is so awesome. So, what is next up on the slideshow? Who are we going to be looking at next?
So, the first thing we're doing is we're going to look at the different characters. Of course, there is Exquisite. So, Exquisite is a billionaire. He plays between the worlds of the Council of Elders, and he plays between the worlds of the heroes. So far, we've only seen him in Tilt, but he's a billionaire and owns a bunch of tech and conglomerate. So we'll see him pop up in other stories. I already have some of that planned out, and he has a story arc of his own that hopefully we'll get to explore as well. Dan Schmidt, what's up, man? Love the artwork. Great work, Joe and Ramon.
What's up, Dan?
Yeah, it is gorgeous.
Dan the man. Anyway, yeah. So sorry, I like when Dan shows up because he's a cool guy. So yeah, Exquisite gets to play between the worlds and set up however he wants to set up what he thinks is going to benefit him in the end. So that's kind of what made him a prominent character. And toward the end of the slideshow, there's a little something extra that we're adding into this campaign.
So he kind of gives me a little bit of like Nick Fury vibes. Is that like too far off, or is that kind of hitting kind of close to the mark?
I guess personality wise, he would be similar to Nick Fury. But I'm trying to think of like in my mind, it was more of like I guess it'd be like if Idris Elba played Nick Fury or Denzel or just somebody that's a little bit jerkier, but
he reminds me of a Denzel.
Yeah,
a little Denzel-y.
Well, I meant like his role, like what he does.
Yeah, so he'd be like Nick Fury if Nick Fury didn't actually work for Shield.
Okay, I gotcha. No, that's and Joe. By the way, awesome design on the characters. I really love your pencils. Very remarkable. I don't know if he's able to answer in the comments or not, but just if you want to maybe touch base on some of your inspirations for some of these designs too, feel free. I don't know if that's okay with you guys. Like if he can comment
absolutely.
through.
Oh yeah, for sure, and he will. He's in the chat right now. So,
Chat it up, Joe.
Chat it up. We'll get it when you finish typing it. Yeah, this is Sprocket. Joe said Exquisite is more like Jay-Z of the Hyper Evo world, which is probably a pretty apt description, honestly. I can see that. Anyway, so this is Sprocket, also known as Cindy. She is I guess the romantic interest of Patrick's life, and she works for Exquisite in one of his companies. She's a R&D tech nerd, and so she develops her own tech. So at night, because no one was helping Boston, and it's an argument that her and Patrick have at some point, she decides to take it into her own hands and start vigilante.
It's a weird word.
Anyway, so she is not a Hyper Evo. She has no superpowers,
Mm-hmm.
but she has a cool little whip lightsaber sword thing. I don't know what else needs to be said about that. That's just dope.
Yeah,
Cindy's cool though. I like the personality. It sounds so biased because I wrote it. But I like her personality. I think she's like she's a pretty gnarly. She'll mess you up. Yeah. But she's the other main character. So there's Patrick and Exquisite and Sprocket, and then of course Anthony Talon. So Talon is the main bad guy, and for people that haven't read it, I mean, we explore his past in the 3rd issue, and then we also explore it a little bit more in dialogue in the 4th issue. But really, the point of the 4th issue is them finally having the face off. So he's just he was a mercenary as well, and they don't like each other. They have problems, and they work through it with guns and blades.
Yeah, he's the one that's stabbing Patrick in the picture. Correct?
Show.
Yeah. So, what was some of your favorite parts of design and having the design of this character? I mean, his face is pretty gnarly. I mean, so like, what's a little bit of his backstory for everyone that doesn't know exactly what's going on?
Well, just to throw in what Joe said, thanks. Matt designed it. So Matt is the I mentioned this to you that he's the cover designer and the cover artist, but he's also the character designer for like the superhero stuff.
I forget I do things sometimes.
Also, it's been so long.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and so Matt, I guess that's more on you for like design stuff.
Oh no, I mean like, yeah, me and Aaron sit down and talk about all this kind of stuff when we're about the characters, but like I can't even remember a whole lot. I think it was more of like we kind of went for like we wanted a mask. And that was kind of where it was because he was burned. And in the issue, if you read it, you see the accident that happened that made him and Patrick work together. Then, stuff went sideways. Someone didn't really care about killing. Someone didn't want their blood on everybody's hand, like their hands. So, they kind of did it that way. So it was kind of that, let's make a cool disfigured antagonist with this, and just make it was all about making a cool looking villain. So I think it was one of those like tactical / I mean, Joe definitely pushes when he says I design him, but then Joe puts that chef's kiss on it and takes it to that next stop.
But Joe also has like military background, so like when we got into specifics, that's when, like, I remember in the 3rd issue, there's a missile, and Joe was like, "Wait, what kind of missile?" He was like, "Here's the options." And then when we got to the guns, too,
you're like, make it the biggest bang.
Yeah. I was just like, I don't know, whatever blows this up. And then same with the guns. He was like, what kind of guns? And so we've always had like a collaborative teamwork on this stuff. But Matt kind of did the initial mock-ups of all the characters, and then Joe takes it and kind of makes it his own, which any good artist should do that when they're taking over a property.
Yeah, I really like this character design as well. I do think you guys nailed like the cool aspect of it, you know, while still maintaining like that evil like aura. You could tell this guy's a bad guy just from like first look.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's not. You don't want to bring him home to your parents. Joe said, to be fair, I'm actually former military, so yeah. So he wants to get specific about stuff, and I think that's awesome because it adds an element of reality and an element of credence to the work as well. But yeah, so those are the four main characters, and then we of course have little floating characters that are in and out. I don't remember what I put up here. Yeah, so these are the four issues. So we're doing a horizontal cover. Is that what they're called, Matt?
It's called Matt wants to make everything difficult and different, so he's gonna turn a comic cover sideways because you know what? I'm just kind of a jerk like that sometimes.
Yeah, no,
and I think it would be.
I think
it would be
pretty
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's unique. There's of course books that do it, but I think for this particular art piece, it was the only option.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when we were discussing like how we were doing all the pretty much, you know, Statue of David. You know, he was homeless, then he became a weapon. So it was the Vitruvian Man. Then he kind of got, you know, like you could see the progression of covers, even though, you know, some people might think they're boring. But,
throw that up a little bit. This is J-Pop saying very cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, J-Pop.
Yeah.
J-Pop is one of our, I guess he would be a newer supporter, really.
Oh, that's cool. Welcome to the stream, J-Pop.
Yeah. But yeah, so this is kind of a better view of the fourth issue. Every issue kind of had its theme. So we started off with, of course, Homeless Tilt. I'll go back one so people can see that. But yeah, we started off with Homeless Tilt. And then we moved on to, you know, at some point, Matt and I must have had a discussion of like, what do we do for the next set of covers? And we were just like, man, it'd be cool to do like.
I was really big into like you know, I love the fine art stuff. So like I look at way too much. And then I don't know, we started doing this mashup for some reason of like it made it. I think it was accidental. It was a happy accident, right? So I think we wanted to do it, and the Vitruvian Man was such a, you know, it's been done, but with Patrick it actually makes sense because he was built up. It was kind of like a weapon, but then he's also like the perfect specimen, you know. And then also it was. And then it made even more sense because in the book he had the white suit, and then we said, well, the back of it should be the blue suit, which he's going to end up getting because the white suit keeps getting messed up. So, so then of course, you know, we kind of just snowballed it from there. I think Aaron was the one that actually came up with the last perfect idea. He was like, dude, I've got it. I got to do the creation of Adam.
So, Ramon, coloring wise, how was it for you changing from the white suit to the blue suit? Was that a big jump for you?
It's really hard to color white costume. So you need to be creative. You need to think about the lighting. When it's dark, the bounce light are different. When it's in the room, well-lit room, like in the exquisite's office, like a warm light, so the suit reflect the white suit reflect the warm light, and also not mentioning the blood, the splatter, everything, all the effect that comes with the white. But it's really fun. Kinda pushed me to try harder, and it's a really good experience coloring that white suit. I miss it.
It's fun tropes for us to play off of too, and then the kind of character that Patrick is as a person, we just thought it would be funny to move from being homeless into these classical pieces of art. So, you know, Vitruvian Man and then Statue of David, and then the creation of Adam, which is for us, that was just fun. I think it was, gosh, we knew that was going to be the fourth cover probably a couple years ago.
That is so awesome. Yeah,
it had already been set in stone. We're like, if we're doing these other ones, that's the only natural
one. What, like, did you have any that were on the like, you know, the floor that kind of just ended up like being, you know, pushed off to the side? Like any other ideas for covers?
I don't think so.
I
not
have,
from me.
I had one that it wasn't pushed off to the side. It was just one that I thought would make a cool variant, and it would be Patrick as Rip Van Winkle from like the classical art piece. I just thought it would be funny because it pretty much already looks like Tilt. So, other than that, there's nothing that we actually pushed off or these. I'm pretty sure these were all first round pitches that we went with.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then we know like for Paradigm's second story, we know that Matt and I have talked about doing like the old romance. I don't know who the artist is.
There's a JC Linedecker painting that I love. That is probably going to be. I just like doing mashups of like stuff like that. I don't know why, but it's definitely fun to do and put your characters in that kind of scene to tell that story on top of like it's just like a master's study on top of like doing a cool cover. So and the people that get it will get it, and the people that don't will hopefully still be like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So and of course we had to, just for the the sake of it, we had to color the fabric behind it as like Exquisite's curtains.
Yes,
because he keeps breaking the windows.
Yes, some stuff is of course for inside people will recognize,
and of course the trash bags of where he started to where he's at now.
Yeah, which is fun.
Yeah,
I love it.
I love this design a lot. Yeah, it's awesome, especially the way you did the cracked paint behind it too.
Yeah, make it look authentic. But yeah, so that's the cover. It's also going to be the canvas print that we'll get to in a moment. We have a Dan Schmidt who was in here earlier. This is his exclusive variant cover. He is the first, I want to say the first outside artist that we've asked to do a cover.
I love this too. It has like that old school, like authentic feel to it.
Yeah, Dan has. I love Dan's style. For you guys that haven't checked it out, he writes Worms Crawl In, and then he has a few other stories that are coming around as well. So him and I we bounce ideas as far as like stuff we want to work on together, and this was something that we thought would be cool. So I love what he did with it, and it's almost like. I think when people read the issue, they'll know exactly what panel this fits into, because it's very specific. And it also
so it's actually taken from the book too.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, he throws a card through a window, so it's also like a weird. We were talking about it, him and I. It's like a weird homage to Action Comics #1, where Superman's picking up the buggy, because that's exactly the car that Patrick picks up in the comic. So
was it done on purpose?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's just for my own amusement. It's a lot of things I just do for me. But yeah, so I think he nailed it. I think the color scheme's really cool and classic, and it's going to look good on shelf for sure. But yeah, so that's Dan Schmidt's exclusive variant, and it'll be like an add-on only for the campaign. Okay. Reward tiers. We've talked about this before, but yeah, we're gonna do just $5 digitals. That's how we roll nowadays.
Yeah, and that's still a phenomenal price for a digital. I think that's undercutting a lot of people by $1. I think a lot of people start their digitals out by for $6. So I think $5 is such an outstanding price, and the way you guys tier it up after this, like it definitely seems like you have the consumer in mind with these pricings. Like when I went through the previews, I was like, wow, all these pricings, all these tiers are just really good priced. What was some of your guys' thought processes with creating those tiers?
We don't like to make money. I'm kidding.
We would rather you want to buy it.
It's a weird. Matt and I do look at things as consumers still. And this is something that we buck up against a lot with people is they're like, you're selling too short or whatever. But for us, it's more important about the longevity. We want more people to read it. For us, it's a digital copy. It's not costing us overhead to actually print it and ship it or anything. So at least this way we get to pass those savings along, and then when people we would rather Kickstarter be used for exclusivity, to get the cool extra stuff that you can't get. That's the way we've always looked at it. And Some people disagree with that, and that's fine. But it's just how we operate.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think $10 for all 4 of them is pretty great.
Outstanding. Yeah. $5 more for 3 books. Like, how many pages are these books averaging?
Yeah, they're all 22 apiece.
Yeah. So I mean, $5 more, and you're getting 66 pages. Did I do that math right?
I don't know, 22,
66
44,
pages.
88.
Pages extra.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's awesome.
And then when we come around to the trade, there's Joe did another story. It's like a 5-page story that's based on Talon, and then I want to do another 5-page story that's based on Sprocket.
Okay,
that'll be added into the back of the trade. So create value with the new content that we put out. Yeah. So physical. If you guys want a physical copy of the book, $12. That helps us with covering the shipping and printing and all that kind of stuff. We look to make the money back on the bigger tiers. That's why they exist, and that's why they're limited numbers and stuff. And then we're getting a little bit more playful with this campaign too, where we're doing things that either we haven't seen or things that we thought would be cool. That we'll get to in just a second.
This was one of the ones, though, honestly, where I've never really seen where people gave out the physical and then 1 through 4 digitally, like a catch-up tier with the physical. I think that's something that has not really been done a lot. Yeah. I've gone through probably at least 60 campaigns, like just at a rough estimate, and I've never seen that where you can get the catch-up tier with the physical, and it's all in one tier. Like this is an awesome tier right here.
Yeah, we've noticed a lot of people now, their first physical tier is about $15. That's cool. Okay, that's cool. It's just not how we look at stuff, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe Matt and I are broken.
Yeah, we don't think right.
Yeah, like I said, this really seemed like it had the consumer in mind. A lot of catch-up tiers are very expensive, so I was really happy to see that you guys had the digital as cheap as you did. I think it's going to be really enticing for people to get the whole run.
Yeah, and that's our goal. Is we want people to know the content. We want people to see the books, and hopefully once you see them, you'll see the progression of not just his story, but the progression of our storytelling, our work together as a team. Ramon's coloring, the cover work, the writing, the art. It's all a progressive process, and it's pretty inexpensive way, I think, for people to get a hold of it. And then also for $12, you get a really dope cover. So I think that's cool. And then, so we kind of jumped from 12 to 25, but it's also 4 physical books and 2 cards and a sticker. So,
I mean, because the physical itself was $7 when you take into consideration the other thing. So, I mean, even at that, like even at each physical being $7, you're still saving money.
Yeah, so, and you're getting, you're getting stuff that you can't get outside of the campaign. That's how we look at these campaigns now. Is we want to give you stuff that you can't just walk up to us and be like, well, let me give them some of those. Well, we don't have any of those. They all went to our backers. I don't know. I want to use Kickstarter for what its intended purpose is. And then we jump. There is an in-between tier here, but I kind of wanted to put it all together so that we could talk about it this way. This is the largest tier, and Matt was like, we need to do a dumb number for it. And I was like, okay. So
did I say that? I don't think I said that.
Oh, that came from you for sure. I don't know if you said we need to do a dumb number.
I probably said we need to do a dumb expensive number, not like a dumb actual like 2, 3.
No,
Aaron's
you
like,
you
heard
said
that wrong.
because I had it at like 250 because that would be the normal, high. And you were like,
I don't know. I say dumb things too. So.
Yeah, you were like, it needs to be weird numbers, and so how about 2, 3, 4? And you're like, that sounds good.
That's probably something I said.
But with that, you're getting a canvas print of the cover, that's just freaking dope. I mean, I don't see a lot of people doing that, and it's going to be like an 11 by whatever canvas.
17.
Something like that. And then you're still getting the sticker and both those trading cards. You're getting a physical copy of the book. You'll get a freaking sandwich plush because it's the most asked about panel. And we still get asked about it constantly. Him sitting on a plane wing eating a sandwich. We were like, oh, that's cool. That's something random that we could throw in there that is fun and we don't see a lot of people doing. And then you also get these 2 exclusive flash fiction stories. which I think are kind of at the end of this. So I'll get to them in just a second. But yeah, so exclusive flash fiction means if you don't have this tier, you're not going to read those 2 stories until I die or until, I don't know, something. What do they do for writers when you die? They're just like, let me grab all their stuff and throw it together in a compilation. So that's what's going to happen.
Is that what happens?
Pretty much. That's like, Nathaniel Hawthorne's collected shorts and all that stuff. He's dead. Let's just put it all out. I don't know. Maybe that
like we're waiting on Prince's album.
Yeah. And Tupac's next album.
Yeah.
Anyway, that along with all of that stuff, you're also getting both the hero and the villain pack, which are these right here.
Which I think these are awesome.
Yeah, this is fun that we have not seen other people do, where we just built something around these 2 different characters. So for the hero or villain, you're getting the exclusive T-shirt that is for Patrick. You're getting the patch, which is going to be like an actual little fabric patch. Trading card that's just for this tier, as well as a handwritten letter from Patrick himself. It's really just me. I'm just gonna be handwriting them.
Is it hard writing in different handwritings though?
No, I'm just gonna write it in my normal handwriting.
Fair enough.
Then I'll make Matt do this one. This is the villain pack. It's the same thing, but with all Talon stuff. And you get a handwritten, probably creepier letter from Talon. I might make.
You got J Pop over on Facebook asking for the 2, 3, 4. Are you getting all 4 physical comics?
I don't remember.
if you buy that package, yes, I will. You will get all 4 comics.
Yeah, and it honestly, if it's not currently listed on the campaign, it'll be in there. Yeah. But yeah, for sure, it'll be. We're gonna give you everything for $234.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the way it works.
That's the big one.
Yeah. But yeah, these hero or villain packs, they're both, I want to say they're $75 a piece. I'll have to look when we go back over to the campaign page. Or you can get both of them, of course, if you don't want to get the full thing. But yeah, so then we have, thanks to Oxalotl sticker, because...
I love these stickers so much. It's cute.
Oxalotls they're so hot right now. And ours has a Catalyst bow tie on. But this will be an exclusive thing. This one's for the first 20. Let's see, first 50 physical backers. They'll get thanks to Oxalotl. And then we have another one that's for the first 20 physical backers that leave a comment. This is our Outsider sticker. We've not offered this before, but we've started. I've started kind of putting stuff together for. Not a campaign, but a thing called the Outsiders. For people that are on our email list, you're Catalyst Comics insiders, but outsiders are like people with merch, or like a ground team from a punk rock band. So that's the way that we kind of looked at that. And first 20 that comment on the Kickstarter, it helps the algorithm, it helps other people see it. It makes a difference, and we want to make sure that we can do as well as possible on the campaign. So this is just something that we can give back to you for doing a favor for us. And then we have these 2 flash fiction stories, Pawns and Kings. This is an exquisite tale. What I can say of this one so far, because I've pretty much written out a little over half of it, is it is based on when Exquisite was about 13, and it starts with him going to one of the parks in Boston to play chess. And we're going to start seeing how his world got built. And it's just going to be a cool flash fiction story that people can enjoy and know more than other people about the Catalyst Comics universe.
So there's going to be no other way, like any other campaigns in the future that are going to offer this. This will only be offered through this one?
Correct. Just
what
like
a jerk.
I know. Just like in the One Last Job 2 campaign, I did a story based off of Beth, and the only people that got it were the people that added on a t-shirt. Because it's fun for me to write. I love writing, and then flash fiction. It's not like it's destroying my time to work. So I get to have fun, tell a little bit of a story, and then give it to people. And some people will know it, other people won't. I can't say that maybe someday when we put together like this whole collection of short stories and stuff that it might not be included, because it might. We haven't made those decisions yet. So to go along with that is The Harder They Fall. This is a sprocket tale. Same thing, flash fiction story, but it's going to be about Sprocket, kind of her first night as a vigilante is what the idea of it's going to be. But yeah, it's another one that's just going to be exclusive for people that back the campaign. And if you don't get it.
You'll never learn more about Sprocket.
Yeah, you're not going to know her first night, and you won't know Exquisite as a 13-year-old.
So did you guys all know that Aaron could sing and play guitar like that?
Oh,
Matt
yeah.
did.
Yeah.
I think Ramon did too, right?
Yeah, I saw your on the news feed.
Yeah, I remember when we first did our interview and I heard that and he's like, "Yeah, that's me." I was like, "No way, dude. That is insane." Like I never knew he could play like that.
It's fun. I get to use other abilities, and it's still it's something I get to utilize for the comic stuff. And then the videos, I just enjoy putting those together anyway, and we don't have to pay other people to do it, so that's important.
Mm-hmm.
I heard that, Matt.
Very much so.
The trailer, you sang it, and you're the one who sang in the trailer.
Yeah. So I sing and play on that trailer, and then I do like the voiceovers for a lot of our stuff, and then I pull Matt in when I can. Also, like the motion comic trailer that we did is like the first section, but we have pretty much all the audio recorded for the rest of it. I just have to actually find the time to sit down and put the whole thing together. But Matt, so Ramon lent his voice to one of the council members.
Let's go.
And it was freaking awesome.
And Joe too. Yeah, we all did a part.
Ramon sounds nothing like him, so it was awesome. And then Matt did. If you guys read the first issue of Tilt, Tilt drops a dude off the ridiculously high in Boston. His name's Jimmy, and that's Matt doing that voice, and it's freaking hilarious. Trying to talk in a Boston accent.
Yeah,
that's so awesome.
A horrible Boston accent.
Yep.
So now that we went through the campaign, looked at some of the preview pages, some of the tiers, what are some of your guys' final thoughts on everything before you officially launch this on June 15th?
I am thrilled to finally get this story wrapped up, to get the full first story arc wrapped up. It's big for me as a writer to be able to see something all the way through, especially now. A lot of people will put out a couple of books and then give up, and it's nice to have been able to use the same team. And then even in the last book, we brought in Dave to do the lettering, and we'll have him go back and do the lettering for 1, 2, and 3 before we do the trade. But it's been awesome to be able to work with the same team for a few years. Like, we've known each other for a few years now. So we've, Ramon's had things that have happened to him, and we've had to talk. And same with Joe. He's had things that have happened to him, like, life stuff. And so it's interesting to see that element that you don't really think about when you're just like, let's make a comic book together, and then life stuff still happens. So then you kind of build I guess a kinship off of that. And so that's Team Tilt, is just kind of figuring the stuff out together. Joe was by far the most seasoned one out of all of us as far as making comic books. Matt and I were just trying to figure things out as we went, and then Ramon, this was his first stuff too. So it means a lot to finally get this thing all together into 4 issues and give people a complete story.
That is so awesome. Yeah. What about you, Matt and Ramon? Like, what are your guys' final thoughts on it?
Same. what he said.
Friggin' Matt.
I mean, how do you really like? Yeah, it's. We've had that discussion of, it's just like, okay, now what's next? We feel like that's kind of like after Tilt 4, we could take a little break from it, work on another couple projects, try to do some other stuff, and then see, and then launch the trade later on, see how well it does. If people are still really into it, yeah, I mean, we're gonna keep the superhero universe going, but it's a very sigh of relief. Like, it's done. We did it.
It's a sigh of relief. That's actually my tip right now. Especially when I send the last page. Gives me it's like a thorn in my heart. Because this issue, Aaron and Matt know, it's been stretched for a long time because of what happened last year to the family, and
Mhm.
good to finally finish that one and the whole story arc, the from the first issue to the fourth. And I think
Mm.
the story of Phil, um, saying it's a superhero story is like understating the contents of it, of the story, because it digs deeper to the characters. It's not every day you see those characters like Patrick or Exclusive, for example. So I hope a lot of people will finally find this book. New readers will come to know this because the story is so good. I think we have discussed in the group chat. It's a possible. There's a really huge possibility for it to be a series or whatever in a Netflix series. But just wishful thinking. But we don't know. Maybe it will
Hmm.
happen because the story is so unique for me. I'm a fan of superheroes and other stuff like conspiracies and other stuff. And the story's so good. I gotta give Aaron a hats off for the story for making feel this story possible. Yeah.
Yep.
Shucks.
Don't make him cry, Ramon.
Yeah,
Dang.
yeah.
Jeez.
God.
It's supposed to be a party.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's cool to see all of us be able to work together throughout this entire thing. And I don't think it would have worked as well if people Matt and I have had this discussion quite a bit where it's off-putting to try to find people that are as into the stuff that you create as you are, as a creator, as a writer, and then for Matt to be like, the part of the company. Like we both want the people that we work with to be passionate about what it is that we're trying to create,
Hmm.
because we think that that lends into the actual final product. And so seeing Joe and Ramon in the work relationship that all of us had, that was very fluid. Like when, if Ramon had an issue with like a texture or something, Joe is more than willing to jump in there and be like, dude, I'll just put the texture on there for you.
Hmm.
And it's been that kind of kinship throughout the entire process of like being able to talk about stuff and work it out and get the best possible product. And Matt and I strive to have that same relationship in all these other camp books and stuff that we work on. Of course, with Welcome to Everville, it's just Matt and I, so it's a lot less stressful because either we don't like what the other person did and we can say it, or we just. I'll say with Welcome to Everville, Matt just brought extra stuff to it that I was like, okay, well that works perfect.
Hmm.
So, and then we have One Last Job, which is with a different artist, and it's another, he's an artist that's in Spain, so there is a little bit of a language thing there. It's not bad, but there's definitely a little bit of a difference. And he's a great artist, but he's also one of the artists that does a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And so that lacks a little bit of that connection to us. We want people that are passionate. And Ramon and Joe, when they came into it, they fell in love with the character, and that meant a lot to both of us, to be able to work with people that actually enjoyed the product that we're putting together.
No, it seems like you guys definitely have that magical like formula of like a team that's just very like cohesive. It works well together, and it's awesome to see you guys firing like on all cylinders.
Yeah, it's fun for us. We don't plan to stop. We just hope people keep reading the content. It's I guess a lifelong mission to get that first entire story arc out for all the characters and lead up to that first crossover. It's a lot of issues and it's a lot of work. So I don't know if I'll get to see it in my lifetime, but it'd be nice.
Yeah, that is so awesome. So I mean, any hope for like a Tilt issue 5, or is this the end of the road?
This is the end of the story arc. It ends with a moment where we know that things are elevating elsewhere. And we absolutely plan to come back to it at some point. We want to see what we can do with the trade, and then beyond the trade, like Ramon had mentioned earlier, Matt and I had always said we never thought any of the superhero stuff we could see being any kind of series or whatever. But indie comic book stuff has changed so much, and and I could see it as some kind of thing, maybe that a studio would like to experiment on, or whatever. And for Matt and I think we're always willing to have those discussions. Of course, we do approach it with a grain of salt, where we want to make sure that's the right decision for us and for our property and for our babies. But I think him and I are both willing to have those discussions if it comes up, and it might. So you never know what's going to happen with these properties, and it's what we try to encourage people to do when you buy these books. Is like, man, you don't know where these things are going to go someday. Think about all the people that have Walking Dead #1. Had no idea at the time it was going to do what it did. Or the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you had no idea it was going to do what it did. And I'm not saying that we are that, or that's going to happen, but it's a what if thing. You just never know. And especially if the stuff sticks around for a while, you never know what's going to happen later on in life too.
So, I think that pretty much wraps up everything. Was there any finishing notes you guys wanted to end on? Anything to leave off strong before you guys dive into the Kickstarter on June 15th?
What you got, Matt?
Do we still have issue 1 for free, or is
yes?
Okay.
Yeah, issue 1's still for free on CatalystComicStudio.com. You just hit the little sign up thing, get it right on the inbox. Or if you follow us on Instagram, I try to send everybody a welcome message that has a little link in it too. So if you guys don't know if you'll like Tilt, what I will say is people that don't like superhero stuff have come to us and been like, I kind of vibe with Tilt though. So that means a lot to us to try to, go over different genres of people. So at least check it out. It's free. And if you don't like it, then remove your email off our email list.
You don't belong there anyways.
I'm just saying. Or use one of the, if you're like me, you have like 6 or 7 different email accounts, and one of them's just for this kind of stuff. So I think it's worth checking out when you can get something for free and you might actually enjoy it. Even if you don't like superhero stuff, still worth a read. And if you like seeing a dude that just doesn't have a shirt on for a long time for no reason, that's another good book for that. So,
well, hey, I appreciate you guys letting me take the helm of this party. This was my very first launch party I ever took, host of. I really appreciate it. Ramon, Aaron, and Matt, thank you guys so much for letting me kind of just break things down with you, be a part of this. I've always been bad at goodbyes, but I think now is the perfect time to tilt it away.
Well done.
Hold on real quick though before we leave. Cody, make sure you tell everybody where to find you guys. I met Cody on Twitter. I met him. I did a show with him. I had posted about wanting to get somebody to host, and Cody reached out, and I did the show with Cody. I was like, I vibe with this guy, and he has a good attitude towards stuff. So I turned around to Matt and I was like, well, what do you think? And Matt's Matt, so he's like,
anytime.
If you're okay with it, man, then that's cool. But Cody, make sure you tell everybody where to find you and all the stuff you do.
So I am Keeping It Geekly. I focus on bringing you the latest and the greatest from video games to comic books and everything in between. I am live on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, anything that is a social media platform. You can find me there at Keeping It Geekly. And stay tuned. We're doing a whole lot in the indie community, and there's a lot of big things behind the scenes on my end that I'm excited to announce at a later time. I'm just kind of waiting for things to get situated before we drop that news. You don't want to drop that news before all your eggs are hatched, or one of those things.
Some kind of weird ending.
Eggs and Matt, hatching, and I don't know what's going on there.
Exactly.
Matt, can you give everyone a really weird final word?
2, 3, 4, heroes and villains.